Her scarf a la Bardot and suede flats for the walk. She came with me one evening for air and a friendly talk. Did you know there's a part of your brain that becomes active when you're at rest? It's called the default mode network. The more stubbornly I focus on trying to solve a problem, the less likely I am to come up with any kind of good ideas. When you're not focused on anything in particular, this part of your brain lights up. Basically your mind wandering, daydreaming. When your brain is left in this idling mode, it can connect dots and think of things in new ways. That's why you'll have these aha moments. Like that story of Benjamin Franklin getting hit in the head with an apple. Our guy had to be sitting under the apple tree, chilling out to be clocked with the apple. We can often glorify busyness, but true productivity in any meaningful sense comes from balancing periods of focused work with periods of recovery and actually boredom. It's good for your brain to be bored. Creativity flourishes when your mind has space to play. Your most creative self emerges when you stop forcing it. Mental and emotional rest are just as important as physical rest. Can I challenge you to take 5 minutes? 5 minutes just to breathe. Do you think that you could spend just 20 minutes a day doing nothing? No phone, no laptop. Be bored for 20 minutes. Block out your calendar. Rest is not lazy, and it's also not easy. You have to challenge your brain. There's no dopamine in boredom, but it's essential for your creativity and for your mental health. We have to let ourselves slow down, just be idle. Not every second, every minute needs to be filled with stimulation. So your nervous system, this is the part of your brain that controls all of the involuntary stuff, like your heart rate, your digestion, your breathing. And it has 2 parts. You've got the sympathetic nervous system, which is like the fight or flight. You're up, you're exciter. And then you have the parasympathetic, which is your relaxer, rest and digest. Fight or flight, rest and digest. Your body wants to stay in homeostasis, which basically means it wants to keep everything in perfect balanced working order. Your fight or flight activates when you're facing threat. It increases your heart rate and your breathing. It starts to deliver more oxygen to the muscles so that you can run away, and it will suppress the non-essential things like digestion, readying you for action. The sympathetic nervous system is designed to handle short bursts of stress, avoid a car accident, chronic stressors, work deadlines, financial pressures. Create a situation for people where you're constantly activating the sympathetic nervous system without meaning to. You're keeping your body in a heightened state of alertness. Persistent activation of the sympathetic nervous system can cause the body to actually struggle to get back down again. If you are responding to stressors in your environment as if they are a mortal threat, you miss a work email or somebody cuts you off in traffic, this chronic stress that's keeping cortisol and adrenaline high, over time this leads to immune dysfunction, inflammation, burnout, dysregulated nervous system where you become overly sensitive and it becomes almost impossible to shut down the response. It also causes digestive issues. What do you think is happening to your digestion if you're always up here? A lot of people are stuck in this sympathetic nervous system fight or flight reaction mode. We live under a culture of stress. Overwork and burnout are seen as badges of honor. For a lot of people, their job and their success and their title, it defines who they are. Under capitalism, your value as a person is often tied to your output. This creates pressure to always have to be doing something. Many people these days now have to juggle multiple jobs and side hustles just to make ends meet. And we have a lot of things that stress us out. People have to work longer and longer hours. Our jobs are not secure, like constantly living in fear of layoff. You know, if you're self-employed or freelance, you live in an almost constant state of anxiety because you feel like you can't afford to slow down. And also a lot of people are trapped in cycles of debt. This compounds your stress and creates that sense of urgency to have to keep earning. To shame people for not working hard enough, even if they're physically and mentally exhausted. 24/7 work culture makes people feel guilty for taking breaks. We now also live in a 24/7 always on culture. Technology is keeping us connected, which is great, but we're connected 24/7. blurring the boundary between your work and your personal life. And then that decline of community networks means that people then have fewer support networks. Who benefits from you being in a constant state of chronic stress, overwork, burnout, and fear? Because it's certainly not you. Under capitalism, if people rest and slow down, they start to consume less. If they start to work less, what happens to the system? Capitalism depends on you being sick, busy, and exhausted at all times. Keeping you in this state ensures that the system continues to function and profit for those at the top. Work is a means of control. Chronic stress keeps you in a cycle of work, consume, work, consume. A stressed labor force is far easier to manipulate and exploit. When people are too tired or too financially insecure, they are not going to protest for better wages or fight for better conditions. And obviously, when we normalize overworking, companies benefit from the additional productivity and profits that they have not had to pay for. It is not a badge of honor that you're being paid for 40 hours and you're working 65. Stress also drives consumption. So escapism. When we're too overwhelmed and our lives are too stressful, like we will go to the instant gratification. Also, capitalism perpetuates the idea that you're not good enough. So you're going to stress more about things like your appearance and your career and your lifestyle. Beauty industry and the fitness industry and the well-being industry and the personal development industry. Stop. I promise you, nobody cares what you look like. Overwork, chronic stress people, they're really hard to be around. You're not as productive as you think you are. People pick up on it and we all just want to get on. We just want an easy life, get along. Nobody wants that micromanager. Gives himself a nervous breakdown. It is actually okay to be idle sometimes. It is actually beneficial to the business. Capitalism is greedy. And the mentality of trapping people in a cycle of fight or flight response, of fear and anxiety and cortisol. It's a very short-sighted way of making profit. It's both inhumane and short-sighted, because how long can somebody stay in that state? How long before it all packs up on you? Consumption is the engine of capitalism, and stress drives consumption. Your rest is a threat to the capitalist system. If more people prioritized real rest and their actual well-being, and were less inclined to participate in this relentless cycle of production and consumption, how do you spend your time off? So on my days off, I'm spending time with my loved ones, or I'm engaging in collective action. For a lot of people, our rest also involves connection. Strong communities can organize to resist exploitation, but isolation keeps people in that individualist survival mode. Phrases like sleep when you're dead reinforce the idea that rest is unproductive. We need to reclaim rest as resistance. Rest is a revolutionary act. It challenges the values of capitalism. And we need to build solidarity, because stress isolates people. You're more capable of weathering the storms of stress if you have community that you can lean on in harder times. We need to recognize how this stress fuels that unnecessary consumption. So I'm going to give you a few dirty cheats to calm down your sympathetic nervous system. Box breathing. So we're going to inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold for 4. Like that. Do that a few times and you'll feel it, man. Cold water activates the vagus nerve, and that can help you snap out of stress. Splashing your face with cold water, or holding an ice cube against your wrist, or take a quick cold shower, or end your warm shower with 30 seconds of cold water. I love grounding. You want to identify 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. It seems simple, but it grounds you, it brings you back into the moment. It gets you out of your crisis brain and back into where you really actually are right now. And it is impossible to hold both anxiety and gratitude at the same time. Think about naming 3 things that you're grateful for. This will calm you down.